Welcome everyone to CALLOUS Fight Night. We have our returning champion Hellpowna back after being away for 1 week against Eden's Embrace. He's playing on the alt Sparkling Dream. He beat Teclis pretty badly, and I mean honestly it was a fairly one-sided battle, and he managed to smack Teclis around in order to get here. So we've got these guys. Like I said, the challenger is going to be Sunny against the champion Hellpowna, and it's a lead Machamp for Hellpowna on Beware of Coco up top. They might be waiting for me to give the go-ahead. Let me just do that. Let them know that they can play. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, Machamp has the advantage here. Earthquake, Rock Slide. He doesn't have the balls to go for the cross chop, so in a matchup that the Machamp should be heavily favored in, Tyranitar actually gets the jump. He outspeeds him, and he does way more damage here because Coco couldn't go for the cross chop. He probably thought that something that resists fighting, like a Zapdos, would come in, which is why he went for Rock Slide, or like a Salamence or something like that. So I get why he did that, but it's going to backfire in a big way. This Machamp is like almost useless now. It's so low already. And he doesn't have lefties either. He appears to be choice band locked, so that's a disaster start for Hellpowna. Now granted, he might have Wish or something in the back. He might be able to heal that up later. But yeah, I mean right now, very, very far behind. Right on turn 1 in a matchup that should be overwhelmingly favorable to him. That's kind of the problem with choice banders in general, especially choice banders that are vulnerable to the sand. Puts him in a weird spot. No lefties recovery. He gets chipped away every time he's wrong. They're both taking the time here trying to figure out what to do. Sunny opts for the switch. Interesting that he switches a rock weakness into something stuck on Rock Slide, but he must have been very confident there'd be a switch, and he's right. So we end up with a switch for both of them. Beware of Coco actually names the Moltres here after himself, which is interesting. So he's got Moltres against Cloyster. The fire attack that he could have, like Fire Blast, would actually do a fuck ton of damage to Cloyster because its special defense is so bad. And remember, it's hitting it neutrally, not resisted, because the ice weakness is actually negating the water resistance. And then, of course, there's also the possibility of like an HP Grass, but a Fire Blast is actually even better in this case. Cloyster can retaliate with Surf or Ice Beam or what have you, but obviously Moltres has the advantage here, and he goes straight for the Hidden Power, which is going to connect with another Moltres. The fact that it was resisted as opposed to neutral means that that's HP Grass as opposed to HP Ice. Interesting that both guys brought a Moltres. However, Coco Hellpowna has a very sturdy counter in Blissey, whereas it is unclear if Eden has a proper counter for Moltres other than his own Moltres, which is actually a pretty good check for it. So we'll see what they both want to do here. Moltres really has no business staying in. I mean, could fish for a Will-O-Wisp or something, but it's really not worth anything that could happen back, whether it's a Toxic, a Thunder Wave. The only way Moltres can stay in to go for like a Will-O-Wisp here is if you think it's going to be like a Wish turn or something like that. Even that's not that great, but it does keep the Moltres in to prevent the Wish from being passed to the Machamp. But I mean, that's a pretty obscure scenario. It's better to switch, and here comes Cloyster. It's not a Wish, it's just a Seismic Toss. Cloyster takes 33%, so he'll only live one more of those. The second would kill him when you combine it with the sand. And Blissey's only shown that, so we don't know if it's got Thunderbolt or something like that. Doesn't appear to be the case. The faster Cloyster does get one layer spikes down, and we are waiting here on the move from Eden, who very well may go for Explosion here. The question is, if that's the case, does Hellpowna play around that? It's very tempting here to go into Machamp and get that blown up on, and that's exactly what he does, but Sunny is one step ahead of it here, and he might have just switched to a Protect Mon as well, so that's going to absolutely kill the Machamp because he could just Protect and let the sand finish it off. So that was a nice play for Eden to bait out the obvious explosion and then pull away from it to make your opponent make a bad play. And this works out really well. So it's a free kill, essentially, for Eden. It's not free. The T-Tar took some damage. It is at 57%, so free is not the right word, but it's a not super consequential kill for Eden, and it feels to me like he has the advantage right now. Now, granted, that Blissey does look like it'll stop his Moltres for a while, but it doesn't look like Sunny's team is overly Blissey vulnerable. The Cloyster is low too, so I mean, while I do think Sunny is ahead, I don't think he's ahead by a mile by any means. This game very early, can still go either way, and I don't think Sunny has a huge lead, if he has a lead at all. So we know that the Moltres for Coco has HP Grass. We saw that already. Sunny's aware of that. Swampert doesn't want to take that. Very unlikely that he stays in here. And as I say that, he stays in here, so that must be to retaliate with a Torrent range water attack. I swear to God, I was just about to say, unless he wanted to do that, but I didn't have time to do that because the player made the play before I got to say it, but for what it's worth, I really was thinking that and about to say that. So he takes the hit to get into Torrent range, and then that's going to guarantee the kill. The Torrent boosted Hydro Pump takes out Moltres, and even though Sunny has 3 things that are banged up, the T-Tar kinda sorta, and the Cloyster and the Moltres very much so, Sunny also has a 6-4 lead. So it's interesting. This game can still go either way. It really depends on what Coco has in the back. If he has a cleaner, a DD Mence, a DD Tar, something like that, a DD Gyra, it could really clean up this team. It doesn't have to be a DD poke either. It could be like a Raikou or something like that, or any kind of Combine spammer, maybe a Superachi. With things so low for Eden, definitely any kind of faster setup cleaner could do a lot of damage here. Meteor Mash 47% is a huge chunk. Does not appear to have lefties. It looks like a Choice Band Metagross, which is going to be hard pressed as any Metagross would be to stay in against Moltres here. Now the obvious thing to do for Coco is to switch to Blissey, which he probably will do. The question becomes, does Sunny have something he could do to take advantage of that? What very well could happen here is Sunny goes to Cloyster as the Blissey comes in, and that's going to allow Sunny to get off a free explosion because his Cloyster would be faster than the Blissey, and there doesn't appear to be anything that Hellpowna can do about that. Maybe he's got Gengar or something in the back, doesn't seem overly likely. Here's the Bliss, and there's the Will-O-Wisp. I don't think I like that. I think I like my play better. Had the Cloyster come in here, it would have just gotten a boom off for free, and there's just not really a good response to it for Hellpowna, so that might have been a missed opportunity for Eden, but I still like his position in the game overall. Here comes Skarmory. That's going to blanket Earthquake on the way in. That's good for him. So he might be able to get Spikes down if that's what he wants to do. He does have a lair beneath his own team, and does not appear to have a way to remove it. Sunny does have the spinner in Cloyster, not the world's most reliable spinner, but a spinner nonetheless, and he's not in great shape either. He's at, what did we say, 34% we just said? There's Toxic on Moltres on the way in. He opted for that instead of Spikes. That's going to put a clock on him. There's Flamethrower on the Bliss. Bliss can soft-boiled here. The only thing that would make that not happen is a critical hit. Sunny doesn't go for it, and in comes the T-Tar on the soft-boiled turn. T-Tar looking to do some damage here. Here comes Skarm. Rock Slide there, 40%, a nice chunk. However, there is a Rock Resist still. Make that 2 Rock Resists. So it's both Metagross and Swampert. Swampert is the last poke for Hellpowna. So there are actually 3 Rock Resists on this team. The Machamp as well, but he doesn't really count being a Choice Bander. And then there's still 2 unrevealed pokes for Sunny. He hasn't shown anywhere near the full team just yet. See what they both want to do from here. Sunny's locked on Rock Slide, so he gets out of the way. Here comes Gengar. That's going to blanket Earthquake. That's a free switch in for Sunny. Gengar is another poke that gets walled by the Blissey, but it could have Explosion to take her out and then reopen the Moltres up as a threat. If the Blissey dies, Hellpowna's in a lot of trouble because both the Gengar and the Moltres immediately become game-ending levels of threatening with the Blissey out of the way. So Hellpowna has to be very careful about not getting his Blissey blown up on, and at least the Cloyster, if not both the Cloyster and the Gengar, are going to have Explosion. So Blissey has to tread very carefully here. It's super tempting to stay in and Seismic Toss here, but it's so obvious that a boom could be coming. So Hellpowna's really got to think about that. He could go to either of his Steel Pokemon and resist it. I mean, you feel like an idiot if he just stays in and spikes when you could have just Seismic Tossed him and killed him. But like I said, if Hellpowna loses his Bliss, he basically loses the game on the spot. The Moltres and the Gengar go nuts if that is in fact the case. And that would make Sunny our new champion should he dethrone Hellpowna. We will be yet to have a single player be a 3-week champion if that does in fact play out. And it does look to me like Sunny's ahead. I don't like that Hellpowna's team does not have the cleaner or the way to finish the game. I was thinking something in the back was going to be Last Poke Coon, Last Poke Lax, Last Poke Salamence, something. But he just doesn't have that. I mean, it could be an Agiligros, I guess, is like a kind of sort of setup move. Alternatively, it could be the antiquated Curse Pert set, which is more or less completely gone from the metagame. But yeah, barring something like that, and I don't think Agiligros really counts as a setup sweeper, and I don't think that Curse Pert is a good set or a set that's going to get it done here because both Gengar and Moltres have HP Grass. So I don't know how Hellpowna can win. His team just seems a little too defensive to me. A champ can be worn down, Moltres can be walled, and there's just not that setup sweeper. Like maybe if the Swampert were a Coon instead, I could see this team being a little better. I mean, yes, that would be a third electric weakness, but I'm just throwing things out there. But there needs to be some kind of sweeper somewhere. It looks to me like even when Hellpowna was down, which he more or less has been throughout the game, and he's going to lose his Scarm here to 2 Focus Punches after spiking up, but even when Hellpowna's been down throughout the game, there's always been that hope. If his last poke is a setup sweeper, DD probably being the best one, but really any setup sweeper, then he has a chance to clean up the game. A DD Mence, a DD Gyro would be ideal, I think, because they could just pick off all these things that are weak. Can kill the T-Tower, the Cloyster, the Moltres, the Swampert. They're all so low for Sunny. 28%, 34, 27, and 30. They're all so low. A setup sweeper could easily clean those things out. But Hellpowna just doesn't have it. I just don't really like Hellpowna's team, if I'm being frank. There's a Meteor Mash, but we already know. I mean, I thought we said this is Choice Banded, right? Is it double Bander here in both Metagross and Machamp? I mean, that's obviously offensive presence, but I don't like double Banders, and in general, I don't like it without Magneton. We don't know if he has Wish. The Blissey could be a Wish Bliss to offset the double Choice Bander, which don't have lefties. But yeah, I would really like to see one of those Choice Banders simply be a setup sweeper, and that is not the case. And as such, I think that Eden is going to win. I think Hellpowna is going to lose, and I think we will be waiting even longer to have our very first 3-week champion. Sunny looking good to become our new champ and take the crown. His win against Teclis was great, and it counts as a win, but it does not count as a title defense. Sunny was not the champ in defeating Hellpowna. In defeating Teclis, rather. But I think he's going to defeat Hellpowna here. Hellpowna's not ready to concede. He's still fighting it out. I mean, he could survive a Thunderbolt here and then retaliate with an Earthquake for a knockout. There's an unlucky Para. He goes Meteor Mash instead. Connects. Does the job. Good enough. But yeah, I mean, the Para, not that it really matters. Gengar would have been faster anyway. I guess it matters in that the Pert is now faster than the Metagross, but Meta very much on the way out at this point. 17%, spikes down, no lefties. It's pretty dead. Just a matter of how Eden wants to deal with this here. I think you just go to Gengar is the play. Alternatively, he could go to Cloyster and just use Surf. That puts Coco in a really weird spot because the Cloyster could just blow up on either of the other things. But he does go for the generically safe go to Gengar here. You go for Fire Punch, you go for T-Bolt here. Not really a good play that Coco can make. He can go to Swampert, but we already know that the Gengar has Hidden Power Grass, so even if he doesn't necessarily use that this turn, which he shouldn't because the Metagross would survive that, but even if he doesn't use it this turn, we already know that he has it, so where does the Swampert actually get him? Eden's got to watch the time, though. He's down to 30 seconds here. This game looks like a game that he should have won. He should have this in the bag, so it would be very, very disappointing and tough for him if he were to lose to the timer. That should not happen in this situation. And now it's Hellpowna taking the time. He's got a lot more time to use. He's got 3 minutes, it looks like, $1.80 in the bank. Plenty of time to make a decision. And he's going to leave the Metagross in. There's the Fire Punch. It's going to enable the Blissey to get in. She's safe here from a non-crit, but she could just get blown up on at this point. If both the Gengar and the Cloyster have Boom, this game's already over. See what they both want to do. I mean, Gengar can't kill here without a crit with anything other than Explosion, unless it has an obscure, like, Focus Punch or something. There's a play for Coco. Anticipates the Cloyster coming in, catches it with Seismic Toss, takes balls to make that play, and I definitely respect that read. I don't know if it gets him out of this situation, but two of the guys remaining, Swampert and T-Tower, they're both pretty low for Eden here. He needs one of them to outspeed this Blissey here, and he's hoping that the T-Tower is going to be the guy to do it. We'll see if it does, in fact, outspeed here. It certainly should. If this is a Choice Band T-Tower, then it's going to be very invested in speed. Here comes Swampert to try to deal with it, and that's no bueno. There's an Earthquake. That's going to be the game right there. Maybe Blissey just had to die, but I don't see where that gets him either, because then the Gengar cleans up. So I don't think that crit actually mattered. I think there was just no way out of this game for Hellpowna one way or another. I think that simply sped up the inevitable. The T-Tar is going to be faster here. Like I said, it's going to have a speed investment. Being a Choice Band T-Tar, it's going to easily kill the Blissey here, just 14%. And that's going to be the victory for Eden's Embrace. He's going to be our new champion, eliminating Hellpowna. And as usual, check it out, guys. Hellpowna, classy, classy guy. Takes it well, very respectful. Really appreciated having him in this, and I hope that he opts to rejoin our challenger pool. But we've got ourselves a new champ. Eden's Embrace has won CALLOUS Fight Night, defeating former champion Beware of Coco, a.k.a. Hellpowna, and that leaves just one thing to do. You guys know the deal. We need to find out who's going to be fighting against Eden's Embrace next week, so let's check that out. These guys chit-chatting here about the game. Cool stuff. Go over to our challenger pool here. Oh, man. Look at all these numbers. Should have added it up beforehand. 14, 21, 28, plus 6, 34... 39, 43, 47, 51, plus 9. So 60, I believe. Let me just double count that, as I always do, to be absolutely sure. 14, 21, 28, 34, 39, 43, 47, 51, plus 9 yet. So 60 is what we were drawing from here. So we'll do our usual here. We'll get some absurdly high number to start. Alrighty, and then we will cut it down to 1 through 60 to see who's going to fight Eden's Embrace. Here we are. We're going to hit it once, whatever it is. Number 49 is what got drawn. So let's see. Who's 49? 7, 14, 21, 28... 34, 39. What number did we say? 49. I lost track of where we are. Oh, no. 28, 34, 39, 43, 47. Is it Posse G? Is that right? I think it is Posse G, right? Because we can work backwards from 60. Yeah. Posse G, who played in the original match to try to get our initial champion. Posse G is making his return to CALLOUS Fight Night. It'll be him against Eden's Embrace next week. Those are two proper ADV players. That should be one hell of a fight. Thank you guys for watching. Thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you next week for CALLOUS Fight Night.